Good morning all of you. This video is continuation of my previously taught video. In those videos we discuss about chemical reaction, about chemical equation, word equation, reactant and product and how to balance chemical reaction through hit and trial method and algebraic equation method. Up to that we discussed. Now in this video we will discuss some more remaining topics of this chapters. So now let's just start. In that video I said that in our next video we will discuss about limitation of chemical equation. Related to that some more topics are there. Let's just see what they are. So first topic is limitation of chemical equation. Second topic is types of chemical equation, means how many types of equation actually exist, that we will discuss. After that, corrosion and rancidity. Some example of corrosion, prevention method of corrosion and rancidity, means how we will prevent any substance or any material or any medium from corrosion and rancidity, that we will discuss in this topic. What is difference between corrosion and rancidity? Basically we can say that rancidity is example of corrosion only, but there is little bit difference between corrosion and rancidity. And at last we will discuss some miscellaneous questions of NCERT, which is most important. You will see these type of question you will get in your board examination also. As we are preparing for board examination as well as, so we will try to solve these questions, and likewise this many questions which is given in your exercise which you have to practice it. Now let's just start our topic with the help of, or we can say that limitation of chemical equation, or we can say that drawback of chemical equation, means what are the information we are not able to get from any simple chemical equation. So that is known as limitation of chemical equation. So let me first write any chemical equation. See, here Cu is there. Cu means copper. It react with H2SO4 and gives you CuSO4 plus hydrogen gas. When you see this simple equation, so nothing is mentioned here, means we can say that state of matter or state of reactant as well as state of product is not mentioned in this reaction or in this equation. So there are many chemical equation in which when state of reactant or state of product is not mentioned, then it is very difficult to identify in which state they are present, either in a solid form or in a liquid form or in a vapor form or in a gaseous form. So in order to prevent this, we used to put S for solid, L for liquid, G for gases and VAP for vapor to make any chemical equation more informative. So now let's just see what are these drawbacks. So the first drawback is the physical state of reactant and product. As we already discussed that in many chemical equation the state of reactant and product is not mentioned, means whether it is present in a solid state, liquid state, gaseous state or vapor state. It's our duty to make that equation more informative by putting the symbols like S, L, G and VAP for vapor. Now next point is the concentration of reactant and product, means we are not able to see concentration of reactant and product. what exactly, whether it is present in a concentrated form or diluted form. If it is a liquid, so whether that liquid is present in concentrated form or diluted form, we are not able to identify. See this reaction. Simple reaction is written, but nothing is mentioned ki which one is solid and which one is liquid. So how we are able to find out the concentration of reactant and product? Third point is the heat evolved or absorbed during the chemical reaction. If we will not put symbol of heat, whether the external heat is given to any chemical equation or heat is get evolved after the chemical equation, if we will not put the symbol, then we are not able to identify. So this is also one of the drawback of chemical equation which we are not getting from most of the chemical equation, ki whether it is a endothermic, whether this reaction is showing exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction. That we are already knowing ki what is exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means a reaction in which heat is evolved, means heat is get released in atmosphere, and endothermic reaction is that type of reaction in which heat is absorbed, means external heat is given. So now next drawback, the condition of temperature, pressure, catalyst, etc. which are needed for reaction. Definitely whenever any simple chemical reaction is written and nothing is mentioned, so it's very difficult to identify or rectify the effect of temperature, pressure, catalyst. So which is needed for any chemical reaction, it is not mentioned in that. So we are not able to get idea of these things from any simple equation. Next drawback is the rate of reaction, whether slow or fast, means whether after the use of catalyst, whether the reaction is going very fast or slow, that also we are not able to get from chemical equation. The reversibility of reaction means whether the reaction is reversible or not. Generally that we are knowing ki any chemical change is a non-reversible reaction, but in many cases there is a condition in which chemical reaction itself undergo in a reversibility process. But if any simple reaction is written and we are not knowing the symbol, so it's very difficult for us to understand whether the reaction is reversible or not. So reversibility action is there or not. Next drawback is whether any precipitate is formed or gas is evolved in the reaction. It is not mentioned, and that idea we are not able to get back from chemical equation, that any precipitate is forming or not. What is precipitate? A solid substance which is formed after chemical change, that is known as a precipitate. So whether it is forming or not, that information also chemical equation does not provide us. Next drawback is the extent up to which the reaction takes place, means up to where any reaction takes place, whether it is a chain reaction or it is a simple reaction, means it just get stopped at a one particular point. That also we are not able to get it. Next is time taken by the reaction for completion, means up to how much time is required to any reaction get complete, that also not mentioned. Some reaction get completed in 1 hour, some reaction get completed in 1 week, some reaction takes time of 1 year also. So there is a no time limitation for any chemical equation. That also one of the drawback of chemical equation. And the last is mechanism of reaction. How actually any chemical equation work, that information is also very difficult to get from any simple chemical equation. Now let's just start our main topic, or we can say that the second part of this chapter, major part of this chapter, that is types of chemical reaction. Types of chemical reaction is second part of our this chapter. There are basically four type of chemical reaction. First is combination reaction. Now what is combination reaction? Let's just understand. A reaction in which one single product is formed from two or more reactant is known as combination reaction. By this example, you will understand. See, when A react with B2, after the reaction AB2 product is formed. So, a type of reaction in which only one single product is formed by the combination of two or more reactant. That type of reaction is known as a combination reaction. You will understand this reaction more clearly by taking one example of formation of calcium hydroxide. For that, you have to perform one activity. These activities which we are going to study in this video, you are not able to perform at your home. So kindly don't try at your home. All the chemicals are available in your school laboratory. When school get reopened, we will do all the activities. Just listen it very clearly ki what you have to do and how chemical reaction work and combination reaction takes place. Now, let's just start with activity. What we have to do? Take some quicklime. Quicklime is calcium oxide. Okay. Quicklime in a beaker. In Hindi, it is also called as a chuna. And pour 10 ml of water over quicklime slowly into the beaker. See, we take calcium oxide and we just add slowly, some amount of water. We can say that 10 ml of water slowly in that particular beaker. After that, stir it with a clean glass rod and torch outer surface of the beaker during the reaction. What you have to do? You have to stir slowly that mixture which you taken in a beaker. After that, next point is put a red litmus paper into the beaker after the reaction. What is red litmus paper? Red litmus paper is basically a indicator which is used to identify whether the reaction is acidic or basic. Means the nature of the reaction is taken place in an acidic medium or basic medium. So after that, what you have to do? Filter the mixture of the beaker and take about 5 ml of filtrate. See, when you take calcium oxide and water, it make a mixture. After that, what you have to do? You have to stir it well and then put red litmus paper to measure, to check whether the reaction takes place in acidic medium or basic medium. After that, you have to filter it out and just take the 5 ml of filtrate. Now, what is filtrate? Filtrate is the liquid substance which we obtain after filtration process. Just understand like this, beta. When we are making a tea, we used to filter it with the help of C. So, the liquid tea is known as a filtrate, and the leftover part of that chai patti is known as a residue. So, that liquid is known as a filtrate. So, you have to take 5 ml of filtrate in a test tube and blow air through the liquid. You have to blow some amount of air. Now, what observation you will get? First observation, you will get that a new substance is formed with a hissing sound. Means hissing sound will takes place. This is the first observation. Second observation is that outer surface of the beaker become warm. When you take the mixture of you can say that calcium oxide and water, and after that when filtration done and you took 5 ml of filtrate and blow air in that, what you will observe that there is a hissing sound. When you blow air, so what exactly happen? You just blowing carbon dioxide gas in that filtrate. Okay, so that carbon dioxide gas get mixed along with the filtrate. which is a slaked lime, which is CaOH whole twice. So when you passed the air in that, carbon dioxide get mixed with slaked lime and form a hissing sound. After that, when you touch the outer surface of beaker, it become hot and the red litmus paper turn into blue. Immediately, the red litmus paper turn into blue, which proves that the medium of reaction is basic in nature. Medium of reaction is basic in nature. So, now after that, on passing carbon dioxide through clear filtrate, it turned milky. As I already told you, कि when you blow air in filtrate, what exactly happened? The carbon dioxide present in air get mixed with slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide, and it turn it milky due to the formation of calcium carbonate. Because of the formation of calcium carbonate, the lime water become milky. Slaked lime solution is also known as a lime water. Now, learning outcome, what you learned from this experiment. So the first learning outcome is water react with quicklime to form new substance, that is slaked lime or lime water. Now, second is, as heat is evolved, the reaction between water and quicklime is exothermic reaction. This we already discussed in previous video with as a example. Now, next outcome, what we discuss? The new substance formed, the reaction between water and quicklime is basic in nature, and that is CaO, means quicklime react with water and form calcium hydroxide. Okay, calcium hydroxide, when it get, so this solution is basic in nature. Calcium hydroxide is base. Why it is base? Because hydroxide ion is present along with the evolution of heat. Don't get confused. I said that when quicklime mixed with water, it formed slaked lime, or you can say that lime water. When this lime water mixed with again carbon dioxide gas, then it form a calcium carbonate compound. Because of the formation of this calcium carbonate, your solution become milky white. Now, just understand with other example. See, next outcome, the new substance formed is calcium hydroxide, that we already know. The other example with respective equation, mean to show the combination reaction. See, by the combination, see how it is a combination reaction. Two reactants get combined together and form a single product along with a heat. So that's why it comes in a category of chemical equation. Now, just understand with example, other example by taking it, just see. Burning of coal means when we burn carbon along with oxygen, then carbon dioxide and heat is formed. Formation of water. When hydrogen gas react with oxygen gas, it will give a water molecule. So, single product is forming. It means that it is an example of combination reaction. We also observe that a large amount of heat is evolved. This makes the reaction mixture warm. The reaction in which heat is released along with the formation of product are called exothermic chemical reaction, that we already discussed. Now, let's just see some more reactions or more example of exothermic reaction. Other example of exothermic reactions are burning of natural gas. When methane gas react with oxygen, what product will form? It always form carbon dioxide gas and water molecule in vapor form or in steam form. It always form that. in simple you can say that ki whenever any alkane series member undergo in burning process in presence of oxygen, it always gives us carbon dioxide along with water molecule. So here methane gas react with oxygen and it gives carbon dioxide along with water molecule with the liberation of high amount of energy, which proves that it is a exothermic reaction. Now second is, do you know that respiration is also an exothermic reaction? This question is very very important for exam point of view. In many exams it is asked that ki why respiration is considered as exothermic reaction. So we all know that we need energy to stay alive. We get this energy from the food we eat. That we all know that ki the energy we are getting it is because of that food we are taking it. So during the digestion process, food is broken down into simpler substance. For example, rice, potato, bread contains carbohydrate. We all are knowing it. These carbohydrates are broken down into form of glucose. Glucose is a, you can say that a energy provider. You can say that it is the simplest form of carbohydrate which provide energy, instant energy to our body. This glucose combined with oxygen in the cell of our body and provide energy. That also we are knowing it कि glucose get mixed with oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide, water molecule and energy. See, this carbon dioxide is get released through exhaling process of respiration. Water molecule is get utilized in our body and energy is stored in our body in form of ATP. Now third point is that's why the exothermic reaction is known as a that's why respiration is considered as exothermic process. Now decomposition of vegetable matter into compost is also an example of exothermic reaction. Means whenever there is a decomposition of any fruit, vegetable, they all come in a category of exothermic reaction. Now our second type of chemical reaction is decomposition reaction. What is decomposition reaction? If a single reactant break down into a simpler product, then it is called as a decomposition reaction. See, whenever a single compound get break down into one or more pieces which is simpler than the original one, then that type of reaction is known as a decomposition reaction. See, basically decomposition reaction is three types: thermolytic decomposition reaction, photolytic decomposition reaction and electrolytic decomposition reaction. We can call it as a decomposition reaction is three types: thermolysis, photolysis and electrolysis. Thermolysis means, thermo means heat, lysis means breaking. Means whenever there is a breaking of any chemical compound takes place through heat, so that type of reaction is known as a thermolytic decomposition reaction. Whenever there is a breaking of any compound takes place with the help of sunlight, then that time it is known as photolytic decomposition reaction. And when the breaking takes place with the help of electricity, then it is known as a electrolytic decomposition reaction. Now let's just see example of electrolysis or electrolytic decomposition reaction. See, by one activity you will understand ki how decomposition reaction actually work. So just perform one activity. Again I am repeating it. Don't try at your home. We will do in our school laboratory. So what you have to do, take some calcium carbonate or limestone in a test tube. After that you have to pass a delivery tube with a cork on the tube. What you have to do? You just take some limestone in any test tube, then pass a delivery tube in that test tube. Delivery tube is that kind of a tube or a chemical apparatus by which we used to pass any type of gas into acquired beaker. After that, what you have to do? You have to heat the boiling tube using burner. Put a matchstick near the end of the delivery tube and pass it through the lime water. What you have to do? You have to first take limestone in a beaker. After that, you have to put delivery tube in a test tube. Then you have to put a matchstick near the open end of delivery tube and pass through lime water. And you have to pass through lime water. So what observation you will get? A gas evolved from the test tube and passes all along the. Then second thing, the gas put off the burning matchstick and a white precipitate is formed. These are the observation. A gas evolved from the test tube and passes along with the delivery tube. Then the gases put off the burning matchstick. Burning matchstick is present near the opening mouth of delivery tube. Because of that, what happened? The matchstick get put off. A white precipitate is formed. Now what is the learning outcome you get? Calcium carbonate decomposes and it is thermal decomposition. That already I told you ki there is 3 type of decomposition reaction. Thermal decomposition reaction, which is also known as thermolysis, photolysis or photolytic decomposition reaction, electrolytic decomposition reaction or electrolysis. So thermolysis. Thermo means heat, lysis means breaking. Means whenever there is a breaking of any chemical compound takes place with the help of heat, so that type of reaction is known as thermolytic decomposition reaction. It is an endothermic reaction. See, we can say that ki all type of decomposition is known as a endothermic reaction because external heat is given to that particular reaction to undergo in a decomposition process. So we can say that combination reaction is exothermic reaction. We can exothermic reaction and decomposition reaction is mostly show endothermic chemical reaction. The gases coming out of the boiling tube which put off the burning matchstick is the carbon dioxide gas. As again it is formed white precipitate due to the formation of calcium carbonate with lime water. That we already know it. When we take limestone in a beaker or in a test tube and we pass the delivery tube, and when we bring burning matchstick near the mouth of delivery tube, what happened? It just get put off because of the liberation of carbon dioxide gas, and white precipitate is get formed because of the formation of calcium carbonate compound again. So this is all about thermal decomposition reaction. Now let's just see, we will understand with the example of heating of ferrous sulfate. This reaction or this activity is also very important. So let's just understand heating of ferrous sulfate. For that also we will perform one activity. What you have to do? You have to take 2 gram crystals of ferrous sulfate. Ferrous is there na, so it is a green color substance or green color chemical compound which is a ferrous sulfate FeSO4. In a boiling test tube you have to take 2 gram of ferrous sulfate compound in a boiling tube and note the color of the crystal and heat. You have to note down the color of that crystal and heat. See, After that, bring a moist blue litmus paper in contact with the evolved gas. You have to bring the moist blue litmus paper. Again, here the use of litmus paper is there, which proves that whether the reaction takes place in acidic medium or basic medium. So, if blue litmus paper turns red, it proves that the medium of the reaction is acidic in nature. So, after that, when you bring moist blue litmus paper near the gas evolved, then soak a strip of filter paper in acidified solution of potassium dichromate. What you have to do? You have to bring a filter paper soaked in a acidified solution of potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7. The formula of potassium dichromate is K2Cr2O7. This is the formula of potassium dichromate, and bring in contact with the gas. After that, what observation you will get? The crystal are green in color and change into brown. That already I told you. The formula of ferrous sulfate is FeSO4. The color of ferrous ion is green. So we can say that the color of ferrous crystal is green in color. When you bring acidified solution of potassium dichromate, K2Cr2O7, then what happened? The green color crystal changes into brown. After that, a colorless gas with a smell of burning sulfur is evolved. Means a colorless gas is evolved after that, and these gas are sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Then moist blue litmus paper turned red, which proves that the medium of the reaction is acidic in nature. Now, after that, what you will observe? The orange color strip changes into green. The orange color strip, we can say that it is a pH paper, which indicate the both whether the solution is acidic or basic. So immediately the orange color strip changes into green, which proves that the neutralization of reaction. Now, what outcome you learn from this activity? The color of ferrous sulfate is green. Okay, that is clear. Now, new substance are formed. The gas coming out is acidic. Whatever the new substance is formed is acidic in nature. Acidic in nature, along with the liberation of gas, that is sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. The sulfur dioxide gases evolved, that we are knowing it. So now let's just see the reaction. See, when ferrous sulfate is heated, we get ferric oxide Fe2O3 along with sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So whenever this type of reaction takes place, here also the ferrous sulfate undergo thermolytic decomposition reaction, and because of that we get three product, that is ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, and the nature of ferric oxide is acidic in nature. So these outcomes we observed by performing the activity. See, we can use delta sign to show the thermolytic decomposition reaction. Means this is the delta sign. A triangle sign is known as a delta, and it indicates the presence of thermolytic reaction. Means wherever there is a use of heat is there, so instead of writing complete heat, we will use this symbol. Now let's just see electrolytic decomposition reaction or electrolysis of water, which is most important, very important for board exam point of view. In this year also this question is asked from electrolysis of water. So now let's just see. Electrolysis of water. Before starting the electrolysis of water, one more example of thermal decomposition is there, that is heating of lead nitrate. Why this example is very important? Because in that we are getting a very specific type of compound with the evolution of brown color of gas. That's why this reaction or this activity is very important. So now let's just see. Heating of lead nitrate also come in a, or we can say that it is also example of thermal decomposition reaction. So what you have to do, you have to take 0.5 gram of lead nitrate in a boiling test tube. After that, what you have to do, you have to heat lead nitrate on with the help of burner. So what you observed, a gas evolved from the test tube. When you immediately start heating lead nitrate, immediately you will see gases are getting evolved from the boiling tube. In that, colorless gas is also present and one brown color gas is present. And along with that, white color precipitate is formed at the bottom of the boiling tube. So what learning outcome you get? By heating of the lead nitrate undergo in decomposition process, and it shows the thermal decomposition along with endothermic reaction. Because of the decomposition, lead oxide is formed as a precipitate, as a white precipitate, and a brown color gas comes out, that is nitrogen dioxide along with the oxygen gas. Because of the liberation of this brown gas, this activity is very important. Last year in board examination is given by saying this reaction is given and asked that which color gas is get evolved in this reaction, and write down the name of that gas. So because of the liberation of nitrogen dioxide, this reaction become very important and this activity become very important. So please keep in your mind. Now let's just start, as we discussed that electrolysis of water. So let's just start electrolysis of water. Electrolysis of water is example of one of the type of decomposition reaction, that is electrolytic decomposition reaction. Now what it is? Just see electrolysis. To understand electrolysis also, we have to perform the one activity. This activity is very important. Sometime in board examination or in your home examination, question is given, explain the activity which shows the electrolysis of water molecule. Means how we are able to get back hydrogen gas and oxygen gas with the help of electrolysis. So what you have to do? First you have to perform one activity. First thing is that after drilling, you have to take one beaker or container. In that you have to put 2 electrode, and then you have to make one electrode with as a cathode and one electrode as a anode, and connect with a 6-volt battery. Okay. After that, what you have to do? You have to put some amount of water with few drops of dilute sulfuric acid in that beaker or container, in which you kept 2 electrodes connected with positive terminal and negative terminal of battery, which make as a cathode and anode. Negative terminal of electrode is known as a cathode and positive terminal is known as a anode. After that, in that beaker you have to take some amount of water and few drop of sulfuric acid. Why sulfuric acid is taken? Because it increases the rate of chemical process. It increases the electrolysis process. Now, in what? After that, what you have to do? You have to take 2 test tube and just keep in a inverted manner over these 2 electrodes, just like this. Just see in this figure. you will see that one beaker is there. In that, two electrodes are there connected with positive terminal and negative terminal. This is anode and this is cathode. Over the anode and cathode, two test tubes are kept in an inverted manner, and in this beaker water is present along with sulfuric acid, which increases the rate of electrolysis, and electrolysis start more faster. After that, you just give electricity through battery. After some time, what you will see immediately in both these two inverted test tube, bubbles are coming out. Then what you have to do, you have to carefully remove the test tube completely filled with the gas, and then bring a burning candle near the mouth of both the test tube. You have to just carefully take off or remove test tube kept on the two electrode. In these test tube, gases are completely filled. Now, in order to check in which test tube which gas is present, you have to bring burning candle near the mouth of both the test tube. Now, what observation you will get? Gases bubble appear in both the test tube, which is common. Now, second observation, there is rise in the level of water in both the test tube on different extent. Means in both the test tube, in one test tube, the amount of one gas is just double of the amount of other gas. So what are the gases are? Now, the candle continue to burn in the presence of the gas coming from the first test tube. Means a test tube which is kept over the anode, a test tube which is kept over the anode, when we bring burning candle near the first or that test tube which is kept over the anode, the candle remain burning, which proves that the gas which is present in that, it is a fire supporting gas, which is a oxygen gas. Now, when we bring burning candle near the second test tube which is kept over the cathode, it just get put off, which proves that in second test tube hydrogen gas is present. That's why the burning candle put off. Now, what are the learning outcome? Hydrogen is the first product which put off the candle flame. Oxygen is the second product which allow the candle burn. So, you will get when two molecules of water undergo in an electrolysis process, it gives us hydrogen gas along with oxygen gas. See, many times this question is also asked why the amount of one gas is just double of other gas. This is because during the formation of water, two atoms of hydrogen is present and one atom of oxygen is present. So whenever there is a dissociation takes place, the amount of hydrogen gas is excess in comparison to oxygen. Now let's just see some more example of other electrolysis as well as now let's just see some more examples of some different type of reaction. So our third type of reaction is displacement reaction. So what is displacement reaction? Displacement reaction is a chemical reaction in which a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its compound. Both metals and non-metals takes part in displacement reaction. This reactivity depend on reactivity series. See, one series is made in which all the elements are arranged on the basis of their reactivity. So basically displacement reaction is a type of reaction in which highly reactive elements displaces the less reactive elements from their salt solution. So some reactivity series is there. So the most reactive element is potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, carbon, zinc, iron, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, silver, gold, platinum. See, those elements which is kept below the hydrogen, they are considered as least reactive elements, and they are the native of environment, means they hardly react with oxygen or moisture present in our reaction, especially your gold and platinum. In under certain conditions, silver and copper undergo in a reaction with oxygen and you can say other gases, but in case of gold and platinum, they hardly react with oxygen or other gases. They are most least reactive in nature. That's why they not show any reaction with oxygen or the moisture. Now some reaction of displacement reaction. So take a example, reaction of iron nail with copper sulfate solution. Very common reaction it is. See, again you have to perform one activity. Just clean 3 iron nail using sandpaper. Just take a iron nail and clean with a sandpaper. Sandpaper is a material by which we use to clean rust present over any iron metal. After that, take 2 test tube and mark them as A and B. Then take 10 ml of copper sulfate solution in a test tube A. Then the 2 nails with the thread and dip into the solution. What you have to do? You have to take 2 test tube marked as A and B, and in first test tube take 10 ml of copper sulfate. After that, just put 2 nails with the help of thread as it is given in figure. You will understand. Then what you have to do, just keep that solution or keep that overall setup undisturbed through 20 minutes. After that, what you have to do, just take other nail in a test tube B as a reference. Take the nails out from the A. Just take another test tube which is B as a reference only. Okay, don't use anything. Now after that, just take your test tube A and take out the nails and compare the color of the solution. You will understand the change present in that. Now what will be the observation? You will observe that the nail taken from the test tube A turn brownish, and 2 nails which is kept in copper sulfate solution, it become brownish. Then the second, the color of the copper sulfate solution faded from being blue to color initially. See, the color of copper sulfate is blue. When you kept iron nail in it, the color of the nail immediately get turned into brownish, and the color of the solution also get fade, which proves that iron displaces copper sulfate from their salt solution, because iron is more reactive than the copper. So what learning outcome we get? Here the element iron in solid state react with compound copper sulfate in aqueous state and gives aqueous iron sulfate and solid copper. The element iron, being a more reactive element, displaces copper from its place in copper sulfate reactant and form a product in iron sulfate that we already discussed. Being highly reactive in nature, iron displaces copper from their salt solution and form ferrous sulfate along with copper. Because of that only the color of iron nail just get changed and the color of copper sulfate solution get fade up. This is how the displacement reaction work. Basically, displacement reaction, highly reactive element displaces the less reactive elements. Now, next we will discuss some example of displacement reaction. Now let's just see. Here some example is given, that is zinc react with copper sulfate and gives you zinc sulfate and copper, because zinc is highly reactive than the copper, that's why zinc displaces copper. Now next is lead react with copper chloride. Again, lead is also present above the hydrogen, so it also displaces copper from their copper chloride solution and form the product of lead chloride and copper. Now some questions are given which you have to do. See, with the help of reactivity series, find out whether the displacement reaction takes place or not. Name of the metal is given. What you have to show, you have to see the reaction, name of the metal by which this salt get formed, or by this salt get react. So put X for no reaction, S for displacement reaction, means when magnesium react with magnesium sulfate, so the reaction will take place or not, so no reaction. When magnesium takes place with zinc sulfate, what will be the reaction? Then you have to write down this. What happened when ferrous sulfate react with magnesium? Then you have to write down this. Then the copper sulfate. So you have to solve this question. This is one problem given to you which you have to solve. By doing this only you will understand what exactly displacement reaction is. So please go through the reactivity series which we discussed earlier. What are they? Like sodium, potassium, sodium, calcium, likewise this. So with the help of this, you people are able to solve this thing. Now let's just see the fourth type of chemical reaction, that is the fourth type of chemical reaction is double displacement reaction, that we will discuss in our next video. That's all for in this video. So we will discuss double displacement reaction in our next video.